everybody, this is our second installment of our pumpkin potage, Debbie's delicious perfect pumpkin potage. And if you remember from last video, potage is French for stew. So we are now going to show how to put the stew into the beautiful pumpkin and bake it, and a couple other things too. So let's start with our beautiful, our beautiful French pumpkin. This is one of the pumpkins that we grew. This is our beautiful Rouge de Vive Estampes, which means the red Cinderella carriage. It's a beautiful French pumpkin, perfect for serving a stew in, because once the stew is cooked in there and it bakes, you scoop it out, and so the pumpkin becomes part of the stew. Absolutely delicious. And plus, look at this beautiful orangey red color. So I'm going to make Val, and here's Val again. Hello, Valerie. Hello. My best friend Val, who is cook, chef extraordinaire, and she's going to carve the top of the pumpkin out and scoop out, or as Martin calls it, gut the pumpkin. So let's watch her do this. I told her it wasn't hard to do, and look at her. She's sort of having a little bit of an issue here. Is this knife better or no?
No, I wouldn't.
All right.
I'll score it first.
While she is doing that, let's go over here to the stove and let me show you what's going on over here. The potage that we made earlier is cooking beautifully. Look how pretty that is, and this is what is going to go into our beautiful red French pumpkin, and then we will be baking it at 325 degrees. It's supposed to be in for a couple hours, and which is great because that way all the pumpkin is baked perfectly and it'll scoop out nicely when you serve it to your guests. But what I'm going to do now, again, that secret ingredient is our sage. I have some lovely sage leaves that are from my garden that I'm going to fry up, in some of our Meyer lemon olive oil, and get it nice and crispy. And once it's crispy, when we serve our potage, we'll crumble some of it up on top of everybody's plate. It'll just add such a nice, beautiful taste to it. So let me go ahead and fry this up. Ooh, I love how it sizzles. It doesn't take that long, but you definitely want to get it nice and crispy. So we'll go ahead and fry that up, and let's look back and see how Val's doing. How you doing, Val?
Pretty good. We're
okay.
Trying to take this off, and I know you were saying it was easy, Deb.
I know, it is easy. What's going on? You having a hard time?
Of course it's being difficult because it's being filmed.
There we go. That's all right. Okay. Every pumpkin has a mind of its own. I think it's coming. The thing is, though, I want to make sure we don't do is a mistake I've made before, is pulling it from the top, because when you do that, you break off that pretty stem, and that's part of the presentation. Yay! Woohoo! Look at that beautiful, oh my gosh. This is an extraordinarily meaty pumpkin, and I love that. Okay, good job, Val. So now Val's going to scoop out all the stuff from inside. You really want to make sure when you are getting rid of the seeds and the pulp that you get rid of as much of the pulp as possible, because really the pulp isn't that good and you don't want that part of the potage. So she's going to scoop her little heart out and get rid of all that.
Smells delicious.
Although, you know, we could take those and make pumpkin seeds,
yes,
right?
I was thinking about that.
So we may do that. That's for another time, though. That's another video. Let's go back over here and see how our sage is doing. It's doing really well. I'm just going to let it cook a little bit more. And when we're done with it, again, I actually like it to get really brown, but keep some of the green color to it. Because once it is cooked, and it's almost like bacon. We want to get it nice and crispy, but almost to the point, obviously not that it's too burned. And this will be a beautiful addition to our tabletop and our garnish for our stew. Okay, how you doing, Val?
Pretty good. I'm almost doing it. You're right. It wasn't
all right. Not that tough, huh?
No.
While she's doing that, though, I think our stew, our potage is done enough. I'm going to bring it over here and put it on our little hot plate, our little trivet. So I will set it over here. So let me grab this.
So good.
doesn't it smell delicious?
Yes.
Wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen one of these pumpkins that has so much meat. Look at that. Okay, that's spectacular. People may not think that. And we grew this. This was in our garden at Hoey Ranch. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Okay. It tastes better there.
Yes, it does. Everything tastes better there. What we're going to do too is, once Val is done cleaning out that pumpkin, we'll put it on our baking sheet, and then I'm going to put some olive oil, some of the Meyer lemon olive oil on the outside, because again, that'll help bake it and help keep its shape. The one thing nice about cooking with certain types of pumpkins, and that's why I like using the French pumpkins, is that they hold their shape when baked. Some of them will collapse, so you have to be careful about that. And I've had that experience before, that baking certain pumpkins, you think they're going to look so pretty when they're done, and oh no, they don't. They collapse on themselves. So this one will be a pretty one.
Oh, yeah.
So here's our stew.
We'll have tons
And I think you're probably pretty good there, Chicklet. Lovely. Gosh, that smells good.
I told you.
I know it. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? You can see too how our pretty onions and our pretty potatoes just add to a nice fall color. Love that, love that, love that. Okay. Now, obviously, and I hate to always say things that are so obvious, but when you have a pumpkin, you always want to make sure you wash it before you use it. This was actually one of my displays, and I kind of hated taking it out of my display, but I made sure I washed it and made it look pretty. So when we cooked it, it was, obviously edible. So what I'm going to do now in this beautiful pumpkin, I'm going to fill it with our stew. Let me bring it a little closer. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And while we're doing this, I did heat the oven to 325. So it'll be ready for our pumpkin to enter. And then also, what you have to be careful about too when you fill the pumpkin is when you put the top on it, is put it a little askew, because our big worry is that, oh my gosh, what if it was so tight your pumpkin exploded in the oven? Not that I think that would really happen, but you never know. So here we go, fill it up. Pretty, pretty, pretty. What I'm going to do though now is pick up the pot and just dump the rest of it into the pumpkin, and then we'll put the top on it. Ooh, lovely, lovely. Okay. So we'll put it. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness.
Do we want it? We don't really want it to fit
exact. No, because we don't want the pumpkin to blow up. Okay, just put it. Yeah, there you go. I think that's fine. I'm going to make Val do this because it's heavy and she's a stud and I'm not. We'll take our sage off there. Okay, all right. Beautiful. So again, a 325-degree oven, and it's going to have to cook for a couple hours. But that's great because, again, I think stews should cook as long as possible as far as I'm concerned. Oh, pretty, pretty. Just make sure it fits in your oven.
Yeah.
That's an issue
you
may have. It is a big pumpkin. I know. It's almost like a turkey. You got to make sure it fits in your oven. And if it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with keeping the lid off of it either. We're going to have to do that? Okay, that's all right. We just want the lid to cook too, because the pumpkin meat that's on the lid is also good to eat. Oh my goodness, that's going to be so beautiful. Okay, and there you go. Let's have our wine glass. Excellent. All right, darling. Perfect. And again, next video is going to be presentation. We're finally going to get to eat. And once again, happy holidays and bon appetit.
Bon appetit.